I stand, I breathe, I do not break. The weight of days is mine to take. No rush, no flight, no need to flee. I keep my ground, and it keeps me. I name my fear, I let it pass, like shadow moving over glass. What is not mine, I leave behind. I rule this breath, this heart, this mind. The world can shake, the hours bend, still I remain until the end. We stand not loud, not armed, not proud. No throne beneath us, no crown bow. The storm may rage, the night may call, we stand, and that is all. And that is all. We stand unbroken side by side, not bound by hope, not ruled by tide. No promise made, no debt we owe, just chosen steps, deliberate, slow. Through silent loss, through unseen strain, through years that carve their mark in grain. No hand can bend what's held within. We stand and still begin. Let time demand, let fortune try. We meet the dark with open eyes. We stand not loud, not armed, not proud. No throne beneath us, no crown bow. The storm may rage, the night may call. We stand, and that is all. And that is all. Stand with me, don't turn away. Hold fast the ground we keep today. No oath of fire, no vow of steel, just breathe and bone and what is real. No claim to fate, no plea for grace. We take our place and face the face of what must come, of what must be. Unruled, unbent in dignity.
No cheers decide if we endure. No witness needed to be sure. If all is lost, if none remains, still we will stand the same.
We stand not loud, not armed, not proud. No throne beneath us, no crown bow. The storm may rage, the night may call. We stand, and that is all.
Beneath us, no crown bow. The storm may rage, the night may fall. We stand.
We stand, and that is all. We From dust and oath the city rose, stone by stone, by blood. not born of mercy, not of fear, but law made flesh and will made clear. Where chaos ruled by fleeting flame, we set the line, we name the name, not to please the gods above, but to bind the world we love. Not chance, not race, the world stands still where Rome has planned. I came not to kneel, I saw and made it real. I conquered not for pride, but to set the world in measured stride. The law now walks, the age turns with me. We cross the sea, the frost, the sand, with iron ranks and open hand. Not all who came would live to see the world remade by destiny. We did not promise heaven's grace, we promised roads, we promised place where men could stand beneath the sky and know the rule by which they die. I came with weight and cost, what must be lost. I conquered not in haste, but to leave behind a world in place. Empires burn, names decay, but roads remember Rome's way. Stone outlives the shouting crowd. Law speaks longer than the loud. VICI, VICI, not flesh alone, but fate was bent. The world was raw, we gave it form. Remember this, we did not rule by chance, but by design. Roma Eterna. Not born for ease, not crowned for joy, placed where weight was greatest. He did not seek the throne, nor the noise of praise. The world was placed upon his shoulders and remained. By frost and fire on distant ground, while legions stood in line, he learned the heart of governance to rule the mind.
He ruled himself before all else. He bore the weight without complaint, not by the sword, but by the mind. He held the line
And stood by candlelight in silent camps when others slept or drank. He wrote not for the world to hear, but to keep rank. No promise made to fortune's wheel, no curse against his fate. He met each day as given law exact.
He ruled himself before all else. He bore the weight without
stood alive. Time, the body lent by breath, that loss and praise are passing forms of death. He did not add to what he felt, nor curse what could not bend. Between the act and judgment stood the end. He ruled himself before all else. He bore the weight without complaint, not by the sword, but by the mind. He held the line and stood alive. To rule the world is common work, to rule the self is rare. No witness sees the inner war, yet it is there. He ruled himself before all else. He bore the weight without complaints, not by the sword, but by the mind. He held the line and stood alive. Do your duty, guard your mind. The rest is not yours. No name, no fame.
Eyes ahead, we know our place.
Not for glory, not for song.
Close the line and move as one.
Step by step the ground is kept. The order stands, the self is led. Hold! Close the gaps. Do not break the frame. Hold! Lock the line. No one bears a breath on breath.
Slow advance, no rush, no death.
No first strike, no final blow.
Only pressure, only slow.
What endures is not the brave, but the close, the line and train. Hold, close the gaps, do not break the frame. Hold, lock the line, no one bears a
Looks up, the line will fail. If one steps out, the whole turns frail.
So eyes are out and shields are set. No fear is named, no loss is met. Not heroic, not undone. We endure because we On stone the circle stands, a mouth of dust and blood and sand. No mercy carved in marble seats, only breath and steel and beating hearts. The gates unfold, the ground is scored. Each step a vow, each breath a war. Not born to rule,
Born to fight,
not here to live.
here to stand.
Run on the heights and run.
Sanguis et arena.
Blood for the sand, fate in the hand, under the eyes of Rome. Sanguis et arena. Live by the blade, die by the name, under the eyes of Rome.
Down with silent lust, the crown demands its ancient trust.
Not justice here, not right nor wrong, only who stands when breath is gone. A thumb may fall,
May fall.
a voice may cry, but still decides who earns the sky. Sanguis et arena. Blood for the sand, fate in the hand, under the eyes of Rome. Sanguis et arena. Live by the blade, die by the name, under the eyes of Rome. Morituri te salutant, we who stand salute our end, not as beasts, not as slaves, but as men.
Resident Masarup, in stats arena hell, not as beasts, not as slaves.
But as men. Sanguis et arena. Blood for the sand, fate in the hand, under the eyes of Rome. Sanguis et arena. Live by the blade, die by the name, under the eyes of Rome. Roma e vita, Roma eterna, sanguis et arena. No gods descend, no mercy waits, only glory o'er the gate. Roma eterna. Marble sweats beneath their sandals, oil lamps breathe a yellow light. Hands are warm from passing seals. I slide past me, never mind. Wax is pressed, the scrolls are folded, names are traded, neatly tied. Someone pours another cup, someone laughs and Rome decides. They speak softly when they bend, so the sound won't break the room. I stand against the current's pull, while water climbs the Senate floor. They call
unclaimed. Dust gathers where I choose to stay. They say one voice cannot hold back what legions march before the day. A crown is measured, not declared, laid gently on an absent brow. Steel waits quiet in its sheath. It will be needed, not just now. They call me rigid as the stone, as if the stone were wrong to stand. I stand against the current's pull, while water climbs the Senate floor. They call it peace to close their eyes. I do not move, I do not bend. The room is bare, the door is shut, a tabling, a steady hand. The law lies open, line by line. I read it as a living man. The blade is cold, the lamp is low, no speech remains. I need to give. Rome may kneel to breathe one more day. I will not kneel to live. I stand against the current's pull, while water climbs the Senate floor. They call it peace to close their eyes. I do not move, I do not bend. I stand against the current still. No crowd remains, no voice replies. If this is where the river ends, then here I stand and here I die. Carthage burn. Scipio. Emilianus breaks into tears. Smoke rose heavy from the harbors, ash fell softly through the light. Broken towers line the shoreline, red against the coming night. Standards moved among the ruins, armor dark with soot and sand. Rome had taken what it wanted, victory was close at hand. No trumpet sounded, no voices praised. The fire spoke enough. When Carthage burned, the flames rose high, and Scipio stood silent beneath the darkened sky. When Carthage burned, he saw through all the smoke. No empire lives forever, no nation escapes its fall. Walls once thought to stand eternal collapse slowly into flame. Markets, temples, halls, and columns turned alike to ash the same. Others spoke of Rome and glory, of the victory they had won. But Scipio looked beyond the embers toward the years still yet to come. What stands today may fall tomorrow. Time moves through every stone. When Carthage burned, the flames rose high, and Scipio stood silent beneath the darkened sky. When Carthage burned, he saw through all the smoke. No empire lives forever, no nation escapes its fall. The sea remained, the wind remained, only names were carried off by time. And somewhere in the falling air, Rome saw its own reflection. When Carthage burned, the fire climbed the night, and victory felt smaller before the weight of time. When Carthage burned, the future could be seen. For every rising empire must someday share that fate. Stone against the northern sky, the line remains. Rain collects along the mortar, cold runs through the aging wall. Boots return through mud and darkness, no one speaks above it all. Far from marble, far from banners, far from voices dressed in gold, here the empire marks its border, wet and tired in the cold. The gates stand closed, the watch remains. Another night, another name. Hadrian's wall, stone against the storm. We stand where Rome grows distant, still the line holds form. Hadrian's wall, where the frontier meets the sky. Not to conquer what lies beyond, but to hold what stands inside. Torches burn beside the gateways, travelers wait beneath our gaze. Every road that crosses northward passes through the empire's frame. Some arrived as sons of empire, now they barely speak its name. Still we hold the outer boundary through the frost and endless rain. The wind moves through the empty towers, but duty does not leave with time. Hadrian
against the storm. We stand where Rome grows distant, still the line holds form. Hadrian's Wall, where the frontier meets the sky, not to conquer what lies beyond, but to hold what stands inside. No triumph reaches this frontier, no crowd recalls our names, yet somewhere south the cities sleep, because the watch remains.
Hadrian's Wall, stone against the storm. Though Rome forgets the northern edge,
Still the line holds firm. Hadrian's Wall, beneath the fading sky, not to conquer what lies beyond, but to guard what stands inside. The wall remains, so do we.
No promise stood beyond the dawn, only duty carried on. Aurelian, holding what remained, not for glory, not for praise. Aurelian, while the empire strained, he stood between collapse and flame. Borders burned beneath the winter, cities closed their gates in fear. Messengers arrived by torchlight, carrying another year. Every road returned with warnings, every province spoke of strain. Still the standards crossed the darkness, still the legions came again. No promise stood beyond the dawn, only duty carried on. Aurelian, holding what remained, not for glory, not for praise. Aurelian, while the empire strained, he stood between collapse and flame. The Senate spoke in fading echoes, old authority grown thin. Coins were changing hands like water, trust dissolving from within. Walls were raised around the capital, not from triumph, fear alone. Even Rome no longer trusted that tomorrow would still hold. No promise stood beyond the dawn, only duty carried on. Aurelian, holding what remained, not for glory, not for praise. Aurelian, while inherit greatness, some inherit ruin, and some are asked to carry both.
No promise stood beyond the dawn, only duty carried on. Aurelian holding what remained, not for glory, not for praise. Aurelian, while the empire strained, collapse and flame.
No oath is spoken aloud, no promise is required. The eagle stands reassembled.
Not first by number, first by reliance. When doubt was voiced, we stepped forward. Steel held steady, order intact. We were seen, we were chosen.
Shields aloft,
Pace measured, the standard rises.
rises the formation holds. Under the eagle standard, we advance as one. Not for glory, not for toil.
For duty sustained. We did not ask for favor, we did not seek renown. Trust was earned through silence and resolve. When others broke formation, we remained. When others waited, we
Under the eagle standard, we advance as one. Not for glory, not for reward.
for duty sustained.
Who does not praise, who does not forgive.
It commands and we comply.
Under the eagle standard, we advance as one. Not for glory, not for reward.
For duty sustained.
Plenty of vessels, the line and drawn.
The Danube freezes. The orders do not. before the dawn. Standards cut through falling snowfall. South is distant, summer gone. Marco Manny cross the river. Quadi gather through the pine. Smoke ascends beyond the watchfire. Still the legions hold the line. Forward still, no fires bright. No soft ground, no endless night. The frozen line, marching through the white. Where the Danube marks the border, Rome survives the night. The frozen line, steel against the rain. Empires stand through disciplined men who endure the frost and pain. Trumpets tear across the silence. Commands vanish in the wind. Every mile consumes another. Still the march begins again. Marcus writes beside the campfire while the northern forests roam. Far from marble halls and statues, keeping order far from Rome. Raise the shields, close the ranks. Winter breaks the unprepared. The frozen line, marching through the white. Where the Danube marks the border, Rome survives the night. The frozen line, steel against the rain. Empires stand through disciplined men who endure the frost and pain. The empire is not marble, not the Senate, not the throne. It lives where tired men still obey the horn. The frozen line, through the storm we rise. Though the years consume the empire, still the needles cross the ice. The frozen line, under darkened winter skies. Rome endures another season because the columns still arrive. The fires grow dim. The march continues. Memento mori. Remember, you are mortal. Rest upon my shoulders. Gold reflects the morning sun. Crowds like thunder fill the roadway, as if something timeless won. Incense rises through the arches. Children scatter petals wide. Marble shines beneath the banners as the triumph passes by. But behind the roar, behind the praise, a quieter voice remains. Laurel and dust, bound together still. Every walks slow behind the chariot, taking every name away. Statues line the sacred avenue, faces worn and half erased. Men once praised as sons of glory, now remembered without shape. Slaves pull trophies through the forum, armor dark and red with war. Yet the old man standing near me has seen all this before. The crowd sees height, the ears see stone, already turning cold. Laurel and dust, bound together still. Every crown is carried briefly, every triumph fades at will. Laurel and dust, gold beneath the gray. Time walks slow behind the chariot, taking every name away. No victory escapes the earth, no empire leaves the grave untouched. The hand that lifts the laurel will someday open empty. Remember, remember, you are mortal. Through the light, all the cheers become an echo, fading softly into time. Laurel and dust, nothing fully stays. Even Rome walks toward the silence. One unchanging step each day. Trumpet sounds, no banners rise. The night is still, the order is not. A boundary marked by law and water, not crossed by chance, not crossed by doubt. One step dissolves the past. Shields aligned, breath as one. The line is drawn, the silence ends. Forward is command, forward is fate, forward is the debt we cannot escape. 13th in number, bound in discipline. We were not asked, we were directed. Home behind, river ahead, no backward step, bears a name, bears a name. Forward is command, forward is fate, forward is the debt we cannot escape.
we cannot escape.